Well, I'm hoping that. Okay, thanks, Gary. We'll call the special executive board meeting to order. It's 12:01 today, and it's the 15th of April. Um, the the one agenda item that we have today, and we might have just one more thing that we'll talk briefly about, but um, the one agenda item is a request. There's been a request from, it came to me from Sarah Absher. Um, I think it came to me on getting my dates mixed up here, but it might have been the 6th or 7th of April, about a week before our last general membership meeting. And the request was to have Board of County Commissioner Bell speak at the April 12th meeting. And Commissioner Bell was going to, I asked, she was going to talk about the ballot measure to increase the TLT tax from, I think it's from 10 to 14%, I believe. So 4%. And initially I thought, well, okay, but then I thought, well, PP&R, we've had a little bit of this before. We had in the fall, I think that at that time it was a PAC that had requested time at one of our meetings to speak on the emergency communication ballot measure. And so I tried to get some clarification from Sarah whether the commissioner was just presenting sort of facts, whether it was just a factual Q&A or whether it was an advocating for a position on it. And I didn't get an answer on that clearly. So I sort of went back to I went back to what the draft of the PP&Rs that the bylaws has been working on. And I just didn't, I told them not on Saturday. We have to meet an executive session because I believe that's what the proposed PP&Rs are saying, is that it's an executive board decision. So that's why I just had a timeout on this issue and called the meeting today. So so that's what we're talking about today, really. I um, I think that the thing that came to my mind was that there's probably a group that is in opposition to this, and that if there is this a time where we have in front of the membership a group that's advocating for, and equal, not maybe not equal time, but inviting a group that's advocating against. And that's really the conversation today. I think it's an executive board decision, and I have to say that, I mean, I have an opinion about that, but I'll go with, this is an executive board decision, and it's not my decision. It's a conversation for all of us. Um, my opinion is that uh, if we're going to have somebody advocating for it, then we should allow equal time for somebody who is not in favor of it. That's my opinion. But I don't know. What do other other folks feel like? We can just have a conversation about this if anybody wants to start off.
No, Mark, I agree with you. If they are advocating one position, um, a position, then I do believe that there should be somebody, with an opposing view. But if it's just a Q&A
Right.
where they're going to be sharing facts, then I don't see any reason to have an opposing view.
So Chris, that's exactly what I thought when I got the request, and that's why I asked Sarah to clarify, is it just a Q&A, or is Commissioner Bell going to be advocating for it? I didn't get an answer to that, Chris. And so But I would agree with you if they just want to do a Q&A and that's it, then that would be fine. But if they're advocating for it, then I think that we should have some folks who aren't in favor of that having some time. What do others think?
Is it,
Um,
is it possible to contact Commissioner Bell directly and ask her so that you don't have to go through Sarah, who's on vacation?
Well, it's been interesting, I've been overseas. Well,
Right.
and Chris and Susan, you guys know this, but I haven't kept up. I mean, I've tried. It's only been
Uh-huh.
a conversation with Sarah. We've just
Right.
her and I have gone back and forth. So I didn't ask her that question. It seems to me like um, she's scheduling this for the commissioner. Um,
Mhm.
so
The red flag for me is that this is a proposal from the commission.
Okay.
And it's presented to us by the commissioner. And that's a conflict of interest if it's just a neutral kind of presentation. However it's presented, whatever is said is going to be biased. I kind of fall on the side of saying you really either turn it down or make sure that there's somebody who's opposed. I mean, it would be perfectly reasonable if two commissioners were to come and one gave one side and the other person gave another side. But even then, we're getting into touchy areas. Because, really, what we're supposed to be doing is giving a response to a question. And the question is not, should we do this? How does the commissioner present that in such a way? I mean, and why would they come to us unless they're going to go through the entire county and see a bunch of other groups as well?
well,
I want to give you a
Michael,
little more background.
go ahead,
Go ahead. No,
Nancy.
go
Go
ahead,
ahead,
Mark.
Nancy.
Um,
Go ahead.
so apparently Commissioner Bell has been going to all the CACs and presenting. And Sarah's position, just to state her side, I'm not agreeing, but is that we're an arm of the county and this is a county bond measure or ballot measure. And so we should just be able to accept having them come in and talk about their ballot measure without necessarily having the opposition come in. However, I think uh, it is sort of an STR thing, and things have calmed down quite a bit, and so there is a perception of perhaps not being fair, and so just in terms of our community, I think it could make sense to invite the opposition and let it stand on its own. There is apparently opposition. It's interesting because I was looking into this a little bit beforehand and looked at the county to look for a voter's pamphlet that usually would say who the designated official opposition is, and they don't have one for Tillamook County. There's nothing that has pro or con. Apparently, it just comes out in a ballot, and those are supposed to drop on the 30th. So they're supposed to be mailed out on the 30th. The state of Oregon keeps their Secretary of State's office keeps a registered PACs, and so we can request official information about a PAC. But we do understand that the Oregon Hotel and Restaurant Association, I believe it is, does have organized opposition about it. So it's kind of a tough situation, but Commissioner Bell does understand from Sarah that we're going to be deciding that today, and that she may be invited to come as part of a forum where she presents and there would be opposition. We're supposed to let her know. And she's available to come on the 29th, 2 weeks from tonight.
Yeah, so we'll have to notice it today. After this meeting, I'll have to let Candace know to 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 run that notice. I just
Yeah, Mark, also just to
yeah, go ahead.
let people know, so on the
Uh-huh.
29th, I won't be available that
Okay.
evening. Somebody else would need to actually run the Zoom meeting if that's what the date that's decided on.
Okay.
Yeah, with Mark's support, we gave her 3 dates, Sarah, 3 dates to choose, and including a couple of our bylaws feedback session dates that are already scheduled. And This was the only one that she came back with. We didn't ask her to
Yeah.
choose. We asked her to indicate all availability, and she said this on the 29th.
Well, Gary, can I ask you, could you do the 30th, the next day? Because was one of the dates.
Yeah,
Uh,
I could. do-
Commissioner
Okay.
Bell said she couldn't come on the 30th,
Oh, okay.
only the
And the other
29th.
and the other was the 3rd, but okay. Do we have somebody that can rent?
I
rent-
could do it.
You could do that. Okay,
mhm.
Nancy. Okay.
Or
Okay.
I'm sure Chris could also, or Rand, but I'd be happy to.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. We'll stick with the 29th. I think that I do in my opinion, I think that if I mean, I don't have any problem with her coming and presenting, and even if she wants to advocate for it, but we have to allow somebody who's not in favor to present as well. I don't know who that is. Maybe it's the Oregon Restaurant and Lodging Association. I would imagine that if we notice the meeting tomorrow, and on the agenda we allocate time. I think that what we should do in preparation is to allocate time um, for somebody, or just time for a group in opposition on the agenda, anticipating that there will be somebody. What do others think?
I agree with that. I mean, I think we should certainly make a meeting and for her, and I think it's our responsibility to the community to provide a forum for people that are going to have questions about it.
Right.
You know, I don't think it's going to cover our derrieres that much to say, hey, please just make this a Q&A, because it's a county measure and she's a commissioner. So, you know,
Right.
whether rightful or not, people are going to think that she's advocating for it. But I think we have a responsibility to have her in, and you know, this is an issue for a lot of people in the community. So
Yeah.
and you know, is it our responsibility to actively find someone in the opposition? You know, if we send an email to the restaurant lodging, you know, group and say, hey, we're having this meeting, we've allocated time for a dissenting opinion, essentially, you know, come on in if you want. I think that's enough, but I agree with you there.
Yeah, so if we go to that trouble and no one shows up, they were given the
Right.
opportunity, but I
Right.
suspect some
Right.
will make the time
Right.
Right.
for the important community of Nescoin.
And that's what our
Yeah.
policies and procedures recommend also, that not approved yet, but everybody be invited. They don't all have to attend, but that they be invited to talk
Yeah.
about something. And then of course, we don't ever take a position as an organization.
Yeah. Right.
It's just for information and
Right.
stands for asking questions. We do have something, Barbara Gordon in the chat says, please have a dissenter at the meeting.
Oh, okay.
So
Well-
how are we going to reach out to them? To the restaurant?
Oregon Restaurant and Lodging Association.
I did look, I looked at their
Mhm,
website, and
Oh, okay.
they do have a local representative on their
Okay.
website
Okay.
for Central Oregon coast, or northern Oregon coast, I guess it is. So I would with a phone number, so
Okay.
somebody could reach out to that person.
I'll do that. I'll try and reach out to somebody, just because I think Susan, you sent something to me about that, and so I'm aware of that, and so I'll just contact them and say this is a date, and I always say this, but I really think it's true that the decision we make today is going to be a precedent for how we deal with decisions like this in the future.
Mhm.
And so, you know, if you do it wrong the first time, you know, there's not much forgiveness. So try and do it right the first time. And if you do it right, then it becomes easier to follow that path with similar decisions in the future. So I'm glad that we all seem to think that we're fine with Commissioner Bell. That's fine, but we're going to try and reach out to an opposition's point of view and have them both invited to the meeting.
Should we also probably notify Oregon Coast hosts as well, since they're like the primary privacy,
Yeah.
you know, the private group that's pro STR stuff. So I think
I think so. I think that's, fine. I think the one that I saw was Oregon Restaurant and Lodging Association, but I think they communicate maybe. And so, or maybe they don't, but I think we'll do that. I mean, I think we want to be seen as fair, and we're not taking a position on this. We're just providing equal opportunity for our members to hear both sides of this, because it's going to be a ballot measure. And, I think if we do this right the first time, I think other ballot measures that will come up will be done in similar fashion.
So I do
And
have a
folks,
suggestion on that,
uh-huh,
based on
mhm.
the policies and procedures again, but I think we should go for the official pack. So I think it's worth reaching out to the state Secretary of State's office and ask for who is the official pack. And I think it's going to come back as the Oregon Restaurant Association would be my guess. And then our local, the Oregon Coast group can attend, and my guess is that they're all talking now anyway, but they can attend and ask questions and say their points of view as well. But I think you can often have multiple people in opposition to a ballot measure. You can often have
Mhm.
people for a ballot measure, but I think by going with the official ones, then it keeps us clean.
So we'll see if there is an official one, Nancy.
Right.
This may have just been a posting, and there may not be a pack.
That's a good point.
And
Good point.
so,
Start with that.
Yeah.
so, yeah.
That's a good point.
So, okay, maybe I'll go ahead and try and find out. I'll try and contact the state. It's sometimes pretty challenging to get a hold of the right person in the state with answers to questions like this. I've found through my time in education. So I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, but I'll try and find out if there's an organization that's
Right.
what they filed probably in
Right.
opposition to. Okay.
Right. If not, it's whatever. It's just it's helpful to
Mhm.
know in advance,
Mhm.
having a representative
Mhm.
there. So you're going to go ahead and take that on. That's great. And then so I'm hearing consensus that we want to have it on the 29th. We want to have both parties, both representatives from both sides come in along with Commissioner Bell. How are we going to run the meeting? That's something we haven't written for policies or procedures for yet. We could quickly do it and talk about it at our Friday meeting, but I think it would help to have some kind of a moderator, and maybe that would be you, Mark, as chair moderating. Maybe that's all we need, is you have a certain time allotted for Commissioner Bell to speak, and then a certain time for the opposition to speak, and then a Q&A that follows with you moderating. That might be the best way. Or we could look at the League of Women Voters. I don't know if there's an active chapter to come in and do a moderation.
Mhm.
So, but I
Yeah.
think if we could have a motion maybe to authorize you to follow up and figure it out, or have a small little subcommittee, but that could be part of our motion today on approval.
Yeah. I would just in the simplest, I'd try and keep it simple and allow an allotted amount of time for each side, and then allotted amount of time for questions and answers, and that's it. And it's a time, whether it's an hour, 20 and 20, it's a 1 hour deal. And at the end of the hour, we're done. So, I think, I don't think we need to have the League of Women, another organization, come in and do it. We'll just do it
Okay.
and do very simple, something like that. Because what the point is that you want the membership who are interested to be able to come in and hear for and against and have questions answered. That's it.
Right.
That's the point of what the
That's
meeting's
true.
about. So, okay, so all right, so that's if we're in agreement with that, is everybody in agreement with the 29th? It would be on the 29th at 7 p.m. I think. Is that, or did we set a time yet? Maybe we haven't set a time.
So the 29th for me is a travel day, so I might have
Okay.
that meeting. I think I mentioned that when we were planning this out last time. But
Okay. Okay. All right.
I move that we
Um,
hold a forum to discuss the transient lodging tax on Tuesday, April 29th at 7 p.m. via Zoom with Mark in charge of figuring out all the logistics.
I'll second that.
Okay, moved and seconded. All in favor? Just say aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right. Any opposed? Okay. All right, that motion passes. So that's on the books. I will email Sarah. Let me make my list here of things to do on this one here. So contact the state, contact Sarah. And get the agenda out. Agenda.
And does anyone know? I know Sarah's position was, as an arm of the county, we should just have essentially a standing invitation for a representative of the county to come into the meeting. Is there any language in the formation of these CACs for the county that suggests that, or is that something we want to address later on in bylaws or in something like that?
It's something that she and we talked about both one-on-one, and then she came to one of our meetings where we talked about this very issue, interestingly. And she was very supportive of having both sides of an issue come in. And we even knew that TLT was coming up. She didn't say except for this situation, but I think she may be getting some pressure. I'm guessing so there's nothing that conflicts with our bylaws on it and or the charter at this point. Now they may change. Hasn't gone. The policies and procedures are going to have to go to the county and to the attorney for approval. And so we may see something come back after this incident on this, but for now I think we're good. She understands that depending on what came out of this meeting, that that this may end up being a forum with two sides coming in.
And I would say, Alex, to answer your question, I think if a Board of County Commissioner wants to come and speak on an issue that isn't sort of a ballot measure, providing information about, I don't know, tsunami preparation or something like that, we would absolutely do that. And as I told Sarah when we were conversing a little bit, I said, we have developed these bylaws in concert with the county. And now we're bound to follow them. We're not going to not follow them. And
Great.
So anyways, I think that, I think that might answer that. Okay, so that one's now I got the list. Contact the state, contact Sarah, and put together an agenda. So I'll probably do just what I said, 20, 20, and 20, 1 hour meeting. And we'll allocate time if I can't find another group, or another group doesn't show up, then it is what it is. And
Yeah.
so
Could I just push back a little? I'm wondering if you could
Mhm.
do 15, 15, and 30, because I
Okay.
don't know if it's that complicated a measure, and Seems like they
Okay.
could have their 15-15 and
That's
then
fine.
that gives
Yep.
more time for the community to ask their questions. And
Yep. Okay. 15 each and then 30. Okay. Okay. All right. I'll put that together. And then let me see here. Okay, Nancy, uh, you just wanted to talk about some dates, Nancy, is that right?
yeah.
For bylaw?
So, yeah. So there are a lot of meetings going on. And at our first feedback session last Wednesday, we had basically two people who stayed through the whole thing, one other that came in early, and both were very positive about what we're doing. And but they wish there had been more people, but there weren't. And then at our membership meeting on Saturday, we asked them questions. We presented the PPNRs and what they are, and then asked them questions and got really good feedback. There weren't that many people at the membership meeting. I think there were 9 that weren't part of our committee or officers that weren't voting, but 9 that filled out our poll. And we got good feedback that, hey, you're doing a great job, but we don't need to actually come in and look at every little thing. So we're proposing changing our feedback schedule and dropping significantly the number of sessions that we're having. So if I could just share real fast the new one. We're suggesting actually canceling these that are highlighted in yellow. And so we had the one on the 9th, we'd cancel the one for tomorrow night and the one following that. We would still have the special executive board meeting to go over everything with you guys on the 26th. But this lets us flesh out the document a little bit more. It lets the community plan have more of their kinds of feedback sessions because theirs, I think, are more critical and urgent than ours are at the moment, and or at all. And then we would go back and resume on May 3rd, have one on a Saturday morning, and then have another one on Wednesday, the following Wednesday night, and then have an overview 2 weeks before that we actually go to a vote, when hopefully we would have something back from the county with any changes that we have. And then we have our meeting on May 31st to adopt the document. So our resulting one would look like this. And we were just hoping, since you're all here, if you could weigh in if you have any opinion on this. So these are all dates that we had previously announced. It's just we're cutting some out.
Sure.
And we're particularly making room for, if we cut out some of ours, hopefully there'll be more people coming to the community plan meeting as well.
Yeah, that should work well, and it's good to have that availability for these other meetings. And we'll hope that we get our document back from Sarah and the consultants so that we can present it to people in May.
Yeah, hopefully
We don't know
free
the
things up.
timeliness of that.
Yeah. And it might even be that we would cancel this one on Wednesday, May 7th too. I mean, if it turns out that we hardly get anybody at the one on Saturday, I think we could very easily just cancel the one on Wednesday. A lot of people said they'd prefer, rather than coming up to a feedback session, and I'll send this out when we're done. I just wanted to get your input first. That if we, I should say a lot. 3 people said they wanted to keep coming to feedback sessions. 3 people said they'd rather review the document and contact us separately via email or phone call or whatever. And 2 people said they really think it's important, but they really don't want to have to review it or anything. They trust us, basically, was what we came away with, or that's what we're taking away. So I think we may end up canceling this one if it turned out you guys needed something ran.
Okay.
That
Yes.
looks good to me, Nancy.
Yeah.
Okay. Any objection? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and so I would like to piggyback on to the announcement about the special meeting with an email going out today, Gary. I can get that to you right after our meeting today.
Okay, I think we had on Zoom, we've just gotten the April session scheduled, so that'll be easy enough to delete those. I don't think we had all the May ones set up yet in Zoom,
Right.
so
No, I appreciate that. And let's put a little note based on community feedback. We're deleting feedback sessions. So I think
Yeah.
I see it as a plus. So thank you.
Okay. I think, is that it then today?
No, we've got the urgent meeting.
Oh, okay, right. Urgent membership. One other thing, just we've had a number of meetings already, middle of April. And Rand, you probably are you're weighing on this one, but my understanding is we might be wanting to have an urgent membership meeting on the 21st from 7 to 9 to present a draft and vote on the community plan that we need to send to the county. Is that correct, Rand?
So we already have a meeting scheduled.
Yeah, okay.
And so I guess the notice is to alert people to the idea that this, even though it's a preliminary document, we are sending it to county representatives. It's not the Board of Commissioners. It's Sarah and the consultants to go over our document as part of a presentation they're making to introduce the Board of Commissioners to the work that's being done. Beyond that, I'm not exactly sure how to articulate what they're doing. But Nancy brought this to our attention yesterday, that if we bring anything to the county, it has to be something that's voted upon. And even though it's definitely a preliminary document, that Tom has done us a great service by providing an introduction to the document they're going to receive that clarifies that it is preliminary, and that there are some reasons why it's preliminary at this point after the time we've had to on and off be able to make decisions with knowledge behind it. So that this will facilitate the urgency of the meeting, may bring more people to the meeting to weigh in and provide some feedback that day, but also it will allow us to take a vote and clarify that the membership had a chance to put their stamp of approval on this preliminary version that they're
Okay.
receiving. Was that clear?
Yeah, so what we're
Okay.
just we're gonna want to do is change the term for the 21st to an urgent membership meeting.
Yeah, and I think we'll extract from Tom's introduction some key phrases and words so that people understand
Okay.
both
Okay.
the urgency and also the preliminary nature of
Okay.
the document. So there's a little contrariness going on to it, but
Yeah.
we'll try and articulate to them that their presence and their vote is important to kind of add gravitas to the fact that this is a community document and we want them to take it seriously. That's kind of part of the impact of it. And we need to fulfill the bylaw that says if something is sent to the county, it has been voted upon. So both of
Okay.
those are important pieces of this message.
So I just need to point out that we have Squarespace is allowing us two more, I just checked, 2 more email campaign blasts between now and May 5th. So let's make wise use of our
Okay.
emails remaining and try to consolidate as many of these notices and requests to people that we can, and the next emails that go out. And we want to do that before we send anything to Candace, because she usually hops right on it, and I don't want to
Yeah.
open an email So let's make sure we've consolidated everything that we need to, notices that we need to get out.
So
So
could
we
we do
have
that
3
with
for
Nancy?
today. Yeah, we could do 3 to, oh, I'm sorry, Ran.
Could we join that with your announcement for bylaws?
And also with the TLT special meeting, we could have all 3 in one.
Yeah,
And Tom has his hand up.
go ahead, Tom.
Thank you. And just for your, if I can share if you want a quick look at the disclaimer we put on the front of the document.
And
It's a
it's
little bit more,
actually the middle housing part of the community plan,
Yeah.
right? You're not submitting the whole community plan.
yes,
Correct.
this is an extract of what was being presented as the community plan. So we've taken that out, made it a standalone document and substituted this introduction. And the key thing for the reasoning behind having this go out now is that we're basically given very little time to process this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And thank
Yeah.
the powers, whatever they're described as, for Tom, for being able to be nimble enough to take our conversation yesterday and put it into a form that is so clear and able to qualify the product that we're providing. So it's very valuable, Tom. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tom.
Just part of my
you.
job.
You're amazing.
So let's talk nuts and bolts for today. So Gary, or Nancy, you're going to submit to Gary and Candace, or how? Gary, what's the best way to get all 3 of these in one email? To you? What's the
Well,
best way to do?
Yeah, you could send it to me, and what
Okay.
I'll do is give Candace a heads up that we need to, we're going to have to combine several requests into
Okay.
one email. Then she'll actually draft it up for us.
Okay.
I just that they kind of come through me first, because she might,
Okay.
if she gets one, she might start working on it and send it out. I mean, she's very eager that way.
Gary, how
Okay.
much would it cost for us to increase the number of emails temporarily?
Well,
We probably
Rand,
won't need it after this period, but gosh.
I don't remember what the, do you remember what that figure came out to be, Rand? So the
Yeah,
next tier,
if you do an annual, you pay a certain amount, and it's like a little over, what, $10 a month or something? 140?
yeah, I'll have to go back and take a look at the numbers. I mean, we talked about whether it was really worth it for, we're in a circumstance now that may not repeat for a long time, where we need a bunch of emails, and do we want to go back? Do we want to go to a yearly email campaign subscription that's going to cost a lot for something that we're not going to be using? Now, there is a way to do it monthly, but then when we looked at that, you get a heavy discount by doing a yearly email campaign subscription. So we'd be wasting a lot of money going monthly and having a lot of months that we're not using up.
So there's no way that, well, we don't know, but probably not an easy way to toggle between the two. You pay a different rate for a month that you want to do more, and then you go back to the annual. They probably are not too excited about that kind of thing.
Yeah, they probably already experienced that and know that that's something that they're watching for.
Yeah.
Their subscribers, it's like, somebody's trying to play the game here. So
Yeah.
It might be worth it though, for, if it's not hugely, to have another 2 or 3 months of that. Cause I think with the community plan, we're going to need it. I don't know. It'd be tough to not be able to communicate.
I think what we're meeting on the 23rd, so we can add that maybe to the agenda on the 23rd. Which
I could try to dig up that email that Rand and I had been going over, and kind of present that as far as what are the cost options if we want to expand the email campaign subscription.
By the way, Barbara
Okay.
Gordon's asking if we can send the document in question along with the blast email, and yeah, we can do that with both documents. I think Tom, your document is ready for Okay, and then our bylaws, policies, procedures, we just keep sticking the latest version into a folder that people can go to, and we'll also have a link in that in our email for that, too, Barbara. So thank you for asking.
Right.
see
So
here.
do we have this clarified how Gary is gonna, what he's gonna receive and how he can put it into one?
Well, everybody just send me what, Nancy can send me for what she wants canceled, and Rand, your verbiage on your transformation on the April 21st meeting, and it's what its scope is going to be now. And then Mark, if you could send
Yeah.
me right up for the
Special membership meeting on the 29th.
I'll kind of try to
Okay.
see what makes a good format in one email, then I'll
Okay.
work with Kate to get it out.
Okay.
I'll supply pointers to the documents to you, Gary.
Okay, yeah, that would be great. Yeah, yeah, because I don't think we've ever actually tried doing an attachment on any of our emails. It's probably possible, but we've found it more useful to just do web links, and nobody's really complained about it so far.
Okay.
So, Tom, you're gonna do the attachment for the community plan one, right? Because I'll do the link on the policies and procedures. I have a special folder.
Yeah, I'll put it in the folder we have for the community plan.
Okay, great. And I'm
Okay.
gonna add your policies and procedures presentation to the folder. So,
Okay,
thank you.
yeah.
Okay, I think that's so I'm doing the TLT, Nancy's doing the bylaws, and Rand's doing it's an urgent membership meeting. You're using that terminology to get members there.
I believe that's the terminology that qualifies
Yeah.
to happen in a short amount of time.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you,
Okay.
Rand, very much.
Yeah. Busy times. Okay, so I think that's it for today, everybody. Again, we meet on the 23rd. Now, that one's already posted, so that's great. So we don't have to do anything there. So I think that concludes today's meeting, unless there's any comments before we sign off.
Yeah, Barbara has a comment.
Okay.
Thank you. That
Barbara.
will be a big help, and thank you for all your dedication and work. Thank
Yeah.
you, Barbara, for coming.
Thank you, Barbara. Yeah.
Thank you, Barbara.
Okay. All right, everybody. Well, have a nice day. It's pretty nice out here in Oregon. So have a great day.
Thank you.